Hello all, this is JC3 from Is This Real? Do you want to start your own podcast? Then look no further than Buzzsprout.com. We here at Green Hour Media use Buzzsprout, and we love the team at Buzzsprout. They are all about helping you succeed. Buzzsprout gets your show listed in every major podcast platform. Follow the link in our show notes to let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. It gets you a $20 paid Amazon gift card if you sign up with a paid plan and helps support our show. Join us and over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout.com to get your message out to the world.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news.
This is important bulletin from the United States. Bring you this important bulletin from the United States. Bring you this important bulletin from the United States. Bring you this important bulletin from the United States. Bring you this important bulletin from the United States.
Hey, guys out there. Just letting you know that this is our brand new, what do we call this thing here, Joey? We call it a
podcast.
A podcast, right. I'm new to this technology, so I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. My name is Joe Caiola Jr., born and bred in the great state of New Jersey. Lived in northern New Jersey. I won't tell you exactly where I'm from because, well, with my views, some of you might want to track me down and actually, hurt myself. Anyway, I'm a father of four. I work in the printing industry. I have a deep love for the Jersey Shore. I have a deep love for, all things that are kind of like, maybe we'll say weird, crazy stuff, weird New Jersey's type of stuff, aliens, stuff that you're not going to find every day walking through Kmart or Walmart or any other kind of mart.
If you can find any more Kmarts.
Well, you can. There's one, but it looks like it just came out of the 30s. So that's a little bit about me and what we're going to do here. And we're being that it's our first one, we're establishing a phone-in thing. We're going to try eventually to get some kind of guests on here, whether they're important or they think they're important. We're just going to do a lot of little crazy little things, and just maybe we can entertain you and take you out of this this malaise that we're in with all this crap that's going on now, with the COVID-19 and all this stuff with the, I would say, unfortunate events of the last 2 weeks, but there's nothing unfortunate about it. It's a goddamn disgrace. Okay, I'm of the ilk that if you're paid to help somebody, then you help them. It doesn't give you a badge to be king. It doesn't give you a badge to be the number one person on a planet. It gives you what your job description is. And we all know what I'm talking about. It's that 800-pound elephant in the room. We're talking about Mr. Floyd's death, which I think is an absolute fucking disgrace.
Before we get into that, can I introduce myself?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
I understand you're taking over. It's your first podcast. But,
yes, I'm very excited about this podcast, by the way. And who are you again? Go ahead.
I'm Joseph Caiola III. Obviously,
which means there's three of us.
Obviously, his son. I do host my own podcast at Green Hour Podcast. If you want to go take a look at that. Again, I'm a film major, and I love the same things this man loves. Jersey Shore, all the way to basically sports. We are on the same mindset of a lot of things. Some things we disagree on, but that's just human nature. But most of all, it's just we wanted to do this podcast, especially because we love supernatural stuff and things that we can't, the normal mind can't wrap its head around. We
like that we're normal.
Okay, yeah, really. But other than that, it's one of the things that we have a common interest in, and we love to explore. We do little exploring here. We haven't done it in a while, but we also do ghost hunting. Again, something we haven't done in a while, but we definitely are getting back into that. Dad, go go back to what you were talking about.
Well, it's not that I'm talking about it. It's everybody's talking about it. You're going to have opinions about everything. I mean, I think one thing we can all agree that this was a disgrace that what happened to this man. And I don't want to get off on a tyrant here, but I got to vent a little bit. I'm really getting tired of people, telling you not to feel the way you want to feel. I get the community out there, the black community. I'm not black, so I'm never going to say that I understand fully, but I can understand what they're saying. I've seen it myself. But what I don't understand is why on earth certain elements are letting this death, this horrible, tragic event, overtake what people are trying to accomplish. The protesters out there, and I'm like, you know what? Let's not call them protesters. Let's just call them people that want to bring awareness to the situation, and basically want everybody to, listen to us, listen to what we got to say.
The true messengers.
True messengers. But the problem with that is you got every asshole in the country wants to come out now, and they want to use the death of this poor man, and they want to use it to get a TV. They want to use it to break in something, set something on fire, and then they turn around and say, well, we're doing it because we're angry. You know what? I've been angry many times in my life, and I've yet to set anything on fire, ever. Okay, and it doesn't give you an excuse. It doesn't give you a license to be what you want to be or do what you want to do. You still have the law. If you don't like the fact that this guy broke the law, and we all don't, then you shouldn't be taking the law into your own hands simply because you're angry. And that's a bullshit story. If they tell you they're angry, they're looking for something. They're not angry. All they are is they're hijacking a peaceful get-together. And it's not right. It's not right. It shouldn't be right. And we all have to separate the two. For a brief moment when all this happened, I was very excited. Not that the man died. Please don't go there. But what I was excited that everybody agreed. Everybody, the left and the right, all agreed that this is the one that's going to get the national conversation going. This is what is going to bring
harmony.
It's going to bring light to this subject. Everybody. I mean, I watched Fox News. They were talking about the injustice of what happened to Mr. Floyd. You don't very rarely get that. We had an opportunity, and we threw it away. And that's the most frustrating part of this whole situation. And now all we hear is about the rioters and the rioters and the rioters. And then they're being lumped in with the people that are trying to make a difference. I'm afraid sometimes because my grandson is half African American, and it scares the ever-loving shit out of me that he's going to come across some asshole someday, and I'm not going to say cop, but I am going to say some asshole that's going to call him a cracker or porch monkey.
Just a racial slur.
Just a racial slur, and because the color of his skin. How fucked up is that you got to live in this kind of fear? And it's detrimental to everything else we can accomplish. We can be somebody. We can be so good. We can put a person on the moon. We can do all these major things. But we can't stop hating each other. And that's not everybody. There's a lot of good people in this world. But they're getting overshadowed by the Antifa assholes. Yeah, I said it. Assholes. Okay? Tired of your bullshit, too. I'm tired of everybody hijacking everybody else's causes and everybody's events because they have a message. You want a message? You want to do something? Grow the fuck up. Sit down with somebody. Get some airtime and figure it the fuck out. But no, your problem is you think you have a right to take what's yours. I've heard that over and over. Okay? There's going to be a time in this that one of you assholes is going to take what's yours and you're going to get what you're not expecting. I can't take that bullshit anymore either. But I don't want to go too in deep, Joe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously, we've already spent almost 10 minutes on the subject, so we'll just go right into that. Yes, on this podcast, we want to do, supernatural, mysteries, Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, stuff like that. We'll dive deep into those things, but we also do political stuff too, because we have our own mindset and we have this type of I believe that the way things aren't as black and white as everybody says it is. No puns intended. I think that it's much deeper, and this is a podcast where we're going to dive into stuff like that, stuff like JFK and stuff like 9/11, because not everything is as black and white as it seems, and stuff governmental-wise. I don't know, is governmental a word?
Oh, it is now.
I mean, hey, whatever.
And we invent words, too.
Yes, we do. But as far as stuff from the government, there's a lot of stuff that it just doesn't add up, and I think people are missing the point on that also. Just in these riots alone, where are those bricks coming from? Does anybody know?
I don't know. To refer to what Joey's talking about is that every city now is having a pile of bricks just mysteriously placed in a corner or on a street corner somewhere. No construction around, just piles of bricks. And you gotta start to follow the money trail and all of this shit. You gotta understand that. Who's behind this? Are you going to sit there and tell me that basically if you start something, if you have a protest in Milwaukee, by tomorrow night it's in Orlando, and then it's in here. Now I get it. We have the internet, and it spreads fast on the internet because some of these people, like the Twitters of the world and the Facebooks of the world, all of these people that'll censor the president for saying something that they don't agree with, but then they'll leave a picture of a guy cutting a cop's throat, and nobody says a word about it, or they'll do something bullshit like that. That's the hypocrisy we have in this country. Okay, me personally, I do have my own Facebook page, and that's great. But what I don't understand is there's got to be rules. Now, if Facebook wants to police shit, I want to see them police everything. Twitter, to me, is an unarmed or an unpaid, part of the Antifa movement, or it's an unpart. These people are so to the left that they don't care about what they do. They use their platforms. And what they do is they put all this shit on there, but then when you strike out against it, well, you're the bad guy. You're the guy that's going to make you're creating a problem.
It doesn't fit the form.
No, it doesn't. They have a story to tell. They don't like when you bring in now you may agree with Donald Trump, you may disagree, and that's fine. Granted, I am a Trump supporter, but there's certain things he says I got to sit there and go, what the fuck did that guy just say, and why did he say it? He doesn't speak as eloquently as other politicians, but he gets the job done. Now, you might not like the job he's doing. You might not like the wall. You might not like all these other things that he's doing. We've had the greatest economy. But there's a lot of things that, I didn't like Obama did. But I can tell you something. But I'm going to say President Obama because he's the president. He was the president of the country. Okay? What I'm going to tell you is I didn't like him as president. And I say this all the time, but if I had a chance to sit down and play cards with him, or throw a couple of beers back, or watch a ball game with him, it would be the greatest thing because he's a man's man. I enjoy his way, like he does things as far as a man would do them, or a human being. I didn't like his policies. I'm not a liberal. But that doesn't mean I'm going to hate the man. That means I want to see somebody cut his throat, or I want to do something stupid. The left is unhinged. They make all these things, and they say whatever they feel they're going to say because they think they have the absolute right. You can't watch. I used to watch CNN all the time.
I stopped watching CNN.
I have too because I can't stand it anymore. It's not even now. Granted, I do watch Hannity, and it is a political commentary.
Well, yeah.
But it's laced with fact. There's fact there. CNN doesn't have any fact. You tell me one thing that Don Lemon has said that's actually factual.
To be honest, I don't know because I honestly don't sit there and listen to Don Lemon.
I switch back and forth. I
don't even sit there. I mean, the only reason I watch Fox right now is because of the riots. I want to keep update about what's. Other than that, as far as news outlets, I don't really sit there and watch the news because both of them they're far right, far left on the spectrum. I need something that's in the middle. I need something that's really where you don't get it. Like, yeah, I do support President Trump. At the same time, again, just like my father, I sit there and some of the things he says, I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck are you saying?
But
it's again, the same thing with President Obama. I don't sit there, especially with a lot of my friends. I sit there, what the hell? Why do you hate this man so much? Why does the media cast a shadow on Trump, especially with this situation? Trump had really nothing to do with this situation.
No, they labeled him a racist from day one because he said, and they wanted to make you believe that he said, all Mexicans are rapists and everything else. But here's what you got to do. You got to ask again. Kryptonite to a left person is asking them for proof. You don't hear. It's kind of like you hear crickets because you don't hear nothing. They can't prove anything they say, and in the rare instance they can prove it, it's always some left slanted. Some kind of program or that would be like me saying something that might show my proof to be Sean Hannity. It doesn't make sense. But if you're going to say the man is a rapist, well, then show me the charge. Show me the actual charge. Don't show me what some woman said. And I'm not saying that the woman isn't right, isn't wrong, but I'm really getting tired of that after 50, or 40 plus years, these people come out of the woodwork and start accusing everybody, and they do it to the left and to the right. What bothers me is when it was Donald Trump, they brought up videotapes of him saying stuff and doing this shit. That should have never been videotaped, number one. It was a talk between two people. All right? And another thing, let me ask the guys out there, is there any time that you were with your buddies and you never said the word, man, I like to fuck the shit out of that? Or, you know what, she must have she's got a great ass. Look at that ass. If you say no, you're full of shit. Because people are people. All right, unless you're a priest. Well, that's a show for another day.
That's a completely different show.
Now
we will get into that one of these shows.
That's fine by me. What I don't understand is how all this Me Too movement, when it came to Donald Trump, these people were putting billboards up and everything else. That's all you heard. What about the women? What about the women? But yet, this guy that I'm talking about, Joe Sleepyhead Biden, he has an accusation against him. And right away, where's the Me Too movement? Where'd they go? Can somebody find them? Because maybe they're not, are they home baking cookies? I don't know. What are they doing? But they're not anywhere to be found. And that's the hypocrisy that I can't stomach. I can't stand when you put something up and you don't have any proof. So that's a little bit about what we're going to cover on this stuff. And then, to get back to we'll move on now. The JFK assassination.
Well, no. Let's keep on with because it did, to me, with how things are looking with these riots and these putting bricks, it delves deeper into more stuff about what we're going to get into, about Antifa and about people like, I'll say it, I don't care, George Soros.
Well, George Soros is a scumbag. I'm sorry. Just because he was in a concentration camp doesn't make him any better than anybody else. And if everyone wants to label this, that's anti-Semitic, that's horseshit. Okay? The bottom line with George Soros, he's been doing this forever. If you just go back and you find all
he's been race baiting forever. He's a race baiter.
He's, and for those who don't know who George Soros is, please go look it up. It's a little long to get into, but he was in a concentration camp. And basically what he did, he basically almost sold out his own people just to save his own ass. And along comes, later on in life, and right away he wants to run the world. He's very liberal. He's very left wing, and he's been. Everybody knows that he's been behind the Black Lives Matter movement. Everybody. But the people that do know it and can prove it don't say a word. The people that actually started, they give credit to the Black Lives Matter movement founders. These guys were actually renting houses from George Soros. Now, again, everything I say, you don't have to believe me. It's full of shit. And that's fine.
Yeah, go look it up.
Go look your own up. Do your own research. I've done my research. Okay? And yes, I have a strong opinion about the things, but I also try to back it up because I'm not going to look like an asshole when I say something. Does it make me right all the time? Yes. So that's basically it. When you arm yourself with the truth and you arm yourself with the facts, nobody can argue with you. And I don't want everybody to think that I'm pro, right wing, because let me tell you something. The Republican Party, you got to move, maybe a foot or two before you step over an asshole. Okay, these people will take the eyes out of your head if you let them.
Oh, and then that was proven during the whole George Bush years.
George Bush, another guy. That George Bush couldn't. This guy and President George Bush.
Yeah, President Bush.
Okay, President Bush, the latter one, 42, I believe his number was.
Yeah.
Okay. This guy was
the less smart George Bush.
The less smart George Bush, right? Well, compared to his father, he wasn't the smartest man in the world. But I'm gonna tell you something. I like to hang out with him too, because he looks like he's kind of like the pinata in the room where you just want to make fun of it and keep poking at it.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Harsh to win, see you. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics.
I still don't understand how he has his own library, though.
Well, that's funny.
Can someone please tell me what? Just because he's the president, you get your own library?
Well, maybe they gave him a library card, and then he had to go off and say, George, this is your library. Oh, that's great. I'm sorry, I don't know why I turned him to Ronald Reagan, but whatever. I mean,
Again, 9/11 will be a complete episode on its own.
9/11. I mean,
but all these things seem to tangle into each other.
Absolutely. Let me ask anybody out there if you think that this isn't coordinated. Okay. What we had a completely hysterical group of people for 2 years. All we heard is Russia, Trump's in bed with the Russian, Putin owns them, Putin is blah, 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 blah. That's all we heard for 2 years. So they investigated it. Special counsel, Robert Mueller, the whole 9 yards. We went through this whole 9 yards. Then, when that wound down and the Democrats found that they were wrong and it was all a bullshit story, it got him through 2 years of his 4-year presidency. So now they're looking at it like, what could be next? Hold on, let's go with impeachment. We can do impeachment. We'll start in September, and it'll wind down by past Christmas. We'll take the Christmas vacation. We'll let everybody stew about this stuff, and then
2020 hit.
Well, then we'll
the election year.
Well, yeah, but then what we'll do is after that. Well, we know he's not going to be there. If you tell me the Democrats didn't know that this wasn't going to happen, they knew it would never survive the House. And for the people out there that don't know this, he was impeached in the House, but he was found not guilty in the Senate. The Senate is the one that has to convict. And they knew it would never happen. But they wasted our time and our money. Adam Schiff going about every day. I got all the proof. I got all the evidence. He had nothing.
Speaking about him, have you heard from him since all this started?
No, it's funny because I haven't. Ever since the last I saw Nancy Pelosi, by the way, she was telling us how much she liked ice cream in her $2,300 below zero refrigerator.
During the coronavirus.
Yeah, she's.
Which seemed to have gone away.
Well, we don't need the coronavirus anymore because now that's another thing. We went from the impeachment right to corona. So they don't even give us a week off. It's almost like, you got this, you got that, you got this. Now, I'm going to make a bold prediction here, and I don't want to be right, but I will. Okay. What I find what's going to happen to this whole bullshit, this nonsensical Democratic way of doing things, we've gone from the coronavirus, which is still out there. I mean, we still got to use our masks and all this other shit, so I can smell my breath and all this other bullshit. And we're still doing that. But now we're into the race riots. And now we're into hijacking a beautiful movement into something it completely isn't, that's dominating and burying the original message.
Well, did you hear Murphy today, though?
I try not to. What did it say now?
Comrade Murphy turned around and said that we've had 1,500 cases spike up in coronavirus since the rioting.
Of course, because that's the next one. See, they're opening it up, and the Democrats don't want it to open up because right now they're watching Wall Street. with all this shit going on, they're watching Wall Street now starting to rise back up, and they're paranoid because they do not want to give President Trump any credit. They will do whatever they have to. This has been a 4-year battle, and they are not going to stop. They're going to come at it. They're going to come at him now. What's going to happen now is, because of the riots in the streets and all this other crap that's going on, people are wearing masks, and now the corona has spiked up, so we have to keep everything really closed up again. And I'm sorry, but I'm doing it for the people. I'm doing it for the people. And I'm talking about that nitwit up in New York.
Cuomo?
Cuomo, please. He's as moronic as his dopey brother with his 2 listeners. Okay, this is our first podcast. We probably have more people listening to us than that moron at night. Okay, him and that Don Lemonade, that's another one. That guy's a moron. I can't get started on CNN. Okay, and what's going to happen is they're going to keep everything closed again. We're going to go back to this paranoid shit. They're going to say, well, it's going to be a 3-month thing, and that's going to take us past the election. They need to keep the negative news flowing. They need to keep everybody aware that President Trump's a bad, evil man, and he's this, and he's that, and he's this, and he's that, because they don't have anything. They don't have anything on the left. They're bankrupt. Okay? Their party has been hijacked by AOC and all the other. They're talking about nitwits. Oh my God, they breed them over there. All right? These are people that want to give your money to everybody else. They want to give you illegal aliens. No offense to the illegal aliens out there, but you are illegal. Okay? Words matter. Okay? And what happens is...
And we're not just talking about the illegal aliens that have the green cards, not green cards, but have their work visas and trying to make a living in the U.S.
Well, I don't think a legal alien can get a work visa because they're illegal. They come over there and they're,
Well, I mean, people who have work visas who have expired.
They're illegal. Oh, well, right. Okay. They become illegal. I understand that. You're right. But what I don't understand is, why doesn't America see this? Is it just people that are opening their eyes to see, or is the hatred so bad for this man? Because he beat the ever-loving, popular Hillary Clinton. And why would you...
Again, the Clintons will be another episode.
The Clintons are an episode all by themselves. Okay? And we shouldn't say too much about the Clintons, because we don't know who's lurking in the shadows. Okay? Because you get involved with the Clintons, you end up in a body bag somewhere.
There's a dark room behind us. So.
Yeah, well. Anyway.
President Bill.
Yeah, President Bill. They worry about reprobates, and they worry about this. They blame all this other stuff, on this man. It's insane. And what's going to happen is that's my prediction, that we're somehow going to be locked down till after the thing is after the election, because I think that they want to make sure that they get Joe Biden in there. Now here he's leading in the polls. I think the polls, what they're talking about, is a couple of straw polls. I think anything that comes out of CNN, MSNBC.
Well, I don't believe any polls from any
I don't either, because they had Hillary Clinton up by 20 points.
I don't believe CNN polls. I don't believe Fox polls. I honestly don't, because they're going to be biased. They're going to choose a poll that and the people they send a poll to, that's what the people that follow that organization is going to.
Hillary Clinton was up by something like 15 points or whatever.
I don't follow any news organization polls. CNN, Fox, it's all the same shit to me.
Yeah, well, again, if you can look past the politically, your own political views, and try to pick something right out of both sides, because both sides are fucked up. There's no question about it.
Oh, yeah. And that has been for years.
Oh, it's never going to change. It'll never change. And, the left knew the hatred they had for... The problem with everything here is this man does nothing more than Ronald Reagan did. But Ronald Reagan didn't look a guy in the eyes and call him an asshole. Okay? He laughed at him. And he moved on. He did what he had to do, but he was eloquent about it. Donald Trump is many things. Eloquent, as kind of like an elephant in a peanut shop. He is not eloquent at all. And I'm a Trump supporter, but I'm not a blind Trump supporter. Okay, he really should have some courses on how to speak. But again, he's speaking most of the time to his base. And his base loves the way he talks. And other people don't like the way he talks, they find him to be a bully. And you know what? I can understand that. You think he's a bully. I don't think he's a bully. I just think he talks like an idiot. Sometimes. But I go beyond what the talk is about. I go beyond all of the crap. You peel the onion, you peel the layers off the onion, and you're going to find out that this guy was a very good president. And I really hope that this country smartens up and gives it another 4 years. But I'm not too sure. I really don't know.
Well, especially if they're doing these vote-in ballots.
Well, yeah. That's the Democrats want that because they want some kind of a disparity. They want some kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Control?
No, they want to make sure that things get. There's no saying there's profit and confusion. So if they can stir up the shit pot and get out there and just everybody and their brother is going to say everybody's going to vote. Dead people will vote and illegal aliens will vote and aliens from Mars will vote and they'll win.
If aliens from Mars do vote, would they be considered illegal?
I don't know. It's a good question. I have no idea. Well, I guess if they can fly from Mars to here, they can pretty much do what they want. So
yeah, I would give them anything. At
that point, don't shoot your laser gun at me because I want to go swimming later.
You could be president.
If you want to be president, just give me about $1.50. I don't care. Raise your 3 fingers and just say, I promise to be president.
I mean, I honestly, I don't know. It's such. This year has been so fucked in many ways. Like Anthony was saying last night.
I just think it's just June is just starting.
It's only the 3rd of June.
I love it. I can't wait. This is the Twilight Zone, and DC Comics all rolled into one.
Oh, you're bringing DC Comics out?
I know nothing about DC Comics except I think it's Superman. Is that who is on DC?
Yes, Superman's on DC.
Batman on there too?
Yes, Batman's on
DC.
DC.
We're not going to get into a discussion of who's better, Superman.
That's on the Green Hour podcast. You can go listen to that.
Good. You know why? Because they don't fucking exist. That's why.
Yeah, that's fine, but still. It's called movie reviews, Dad.
Well, I'm not going to movie any reviews. I go to movie. I like the movie.
No, we'll do a movie review of The Exorcist whenever Green Hour does The Exorcist.
What's the thing? I still shit my pants when I watch it. Here's your review. Okay, and then when they added the spider walk, that was even worse.
Okay, again, a different episode.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Let's stay. We'll call this episode 2020. What the fuck?
I don't know what's in store for us. I really don't. And I'm petrified to find out. Well, at the same time, I really want to find out.
But I have a question, though. Where did the murder hornets go?
They probably realized that, what? These people are killing themselves and they're too fucked up. Yeah, there's nothing I can do to
We'll stay in Asia.
Yeah, we're not gonna come over here because, somebody will tell us we're illegal and I don't want to come here. So... we'll stay wherever we're Asia. Everybody came from Asia.
I think they came from China. I think everything's coming from China.
Everything's coming from China.
Oh, these microphones came from China.
The microphone, everything, the computer, everything with the package that is supposed to be shipped to my address. Somehow they never get here.
Again, another episode.
I can't understand that.
We're gonna have 2 weeks full, just every night, just complaining about something.
No, this is. By the end of this thing, you're gonna hate me, or you're gonna be on my side, whatever, on our side, I should say. I know I'm hogging up the microphone, but
you have a lot more to say than I do.
I lived a lot longer.
It's 60 years built up.
I'm 59 and a half.
You're almost 60. You have
I'm almost 60.
3 months until being 60?
You're almost getting hit with this chair. You keep fucking talking like that.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hello, nerds. Come listen to the History Nerds United podcast, and let's make history fun again. We interview today's best authors, whether they are established Pulitzer Prize winners or someone debuting their first book. Let us show you that history is not a boring class you took in high school, but a place where the best stories come from. And we don't just cover history. We also love to chat about true crime, biographies, memoirs, and so much more. So head on over to History Nerds United, and let us introduce you to your new favorite book and learn the story behind the story.
History Nerds United.
All I'm saying is that you have almost 60 years of built-up frustration.
Right? It is frustration because, you see a country that you love, and I lived through the 60s, albeit I was, born in 1960, and, I got to see, I remember clearly the day Kennedy was killed. People said, you were 3 years old. I was, but my mother screamed so loud she dropped the hot iron on the ground. You kind of remember those things. You know, I can remember exactly how the house was set up. So yeah, I remember Walter Cronkite coming on and breaking in. I remember, you know, in 1973. I remember the riots in 1968. I remember Dr. King in 66. I remember, these are things that, you know, you watch on TV and you look online and you're going, why? Why is this happening? And it scared you. It scared you then. It scares me now. It scares me now that I'm watching this all over again, with, you know, 4 generations later, and it's just fucked up. And it's something that, you know, you're supposed to pay attention to history or do it or repeat it. Well, guess what? We're paying attention to it, but we are repeating it, and it's not right, and it's got to change. And I remember 1973 at the Munich Olympics. I remember the terrorists on the balcony shooting people. I remember all of this stuff, and you know, and maybe it just makes me just old. I don't know, but
well, you're definitely old. There's no doubt about
you're
that.
Right, my knees are fucked up. Anyway, these are things that you remember and you question. And by all means, if anybody wants to, you know, talk about this stuff or debate this stuff,
we definitely will have because we may have strong opinions about way things are going, but what I don't know about you, but what mostly I would like with any podcast I'm on, either Green Arrow or this one, is to sit there and to have civil debate. I think that's the most important thing for this world to get to again, is for people to sit down, no matter what color you are, to sit down and say, all right, I hear what you're saying, I understand what you're saying, I may disagree with you, but we could sit there and talk about it civilly.
That's the best. I mean, I got a dear friend, her name is Marie. She happens to be an African-American. And, you know, we debated all the time. We were working together for a while. We debated all the time. I mean, literally, she is not a George Bush supporter. I am.
You're a George Bush supporter?
Well, no, you didn't know that?
No, I did not.
Well, guess what? That's what this podcast is for, to enlighten everyone.
No, I honestly thought all those years of literally just making fun of the man.
He was great to keep around just for entertainment. And you know, I was a George Bush supporter, although I really honestly believe he was a fucking moron. I am a Donald Trump supporter.
Again, another episode, but he was just a puppet.
Yeah, he was a puppet for, you know, you're right.
Dick Cheney.
Dick, appropriate word. You know, and, you know, Marie and I would go back and forth, and, you know, we never, you know, raised our voice to each other, and to this day, we haven't talked about this stuff at all yet. And, you know, I don't want that to define our relationship, because she's a sweetheart. But she's got her strong opinions, and I appreciate her opinions, because she can look at it in ways that I can't, as well as I can look at things that she can't.
Again, everything starts going awry when names start being called out there.
Yeah, you got to be able to sit down with somebody. I got a few people on my Facebook page, you know, and some people don't like what you say. Well, it's very simple. Don't like what I say? Don't listen.
Yeah, take me off.
Or, you know, you can defriend me or whatever.
I've done that to a couple of people. Because, you know what, honestly, like, what pisses me off but mostly about the thing is that, yes, we can disagree, but what I sit there and, like, when people sit there and, I don't care what your point of view is, whether, you know, again, there's people out there that disagree with what's going up with the protests, but everybody should disagree about violating rights.
Absolutely, that's right. The rights.
And throw around, you know, bricks. Whether or not, yes, this man was murdered in cold blood by a police officer
who sat on his fucking neck and enjoyed it. Did you ever see it? I want to ask you a question. Did you ever see
cut
videos?
Me off at school.
I'm sorry. Did you ever
I was
see
going on a point, but you know, it's
sorry.
also.
Well, make your point. Go ahead.
Thank you.
No problem.
But you don't sit there and just.
I'm new to this shit,
I know, fuck off. But just like everybody was against this man brutally killing this guy, everybody should be against people throwing fucking bricks in the window. I don't care how mad you are. Rioting, regardless, does not change anything.
No, it never does. It never gets you anywhere but jail or shot. So at some point, you have to say, you know what? Let's all agree to disagree if you want, but let's sit down and have a talk. Let's talk about, you know, and I know things can get heated,
Things get heated in our own family.
Right.
We're Italian. We yell, so it's like it's just how we deal with things.
So they do. They yell. I'm very peaceful, man.
Fuck you. You yell. You know you yell.
I don't yell. I yell once in a while. I yell when you bricks leave dishes in the sink, which is basically every night. You're right. I do yell a lot. But that's okay. That's a whole topic of another story.
That's a whole different podcast.
Podcast just on that alone. You know, right now I got a disagreement with one of my kids' friends. He happens to be African American or part half African American. I love this kid to death. I love this kid. I see the passion in this guy. He's got a great passion. But what scares me about it, and I understand he had there was something that went on in Patterson. I can't explain.
Well, now thanks for telling everybody where we live.
Right, I don't want to. You're right. Well, you live in Patterson. I live in. Well, anyway. Okay. You know, I don't want to seem that I'm insensitive to it, but I also want. I try my best to talk to him, and I understand his plight. I understand where he's coming from, but I can't understand why you put yourself in harm's way. And you know these protests are going to get violent.
Well, they can get violent.
And if they get violent, you'll be right in the middle of it. You have people at home that love and care for you. And I got to be honest, I took offense when he starts getting the playing the black card. Oh, I got to go help my brothers and all that stuff. And I understand that. You want to go, if you want a peace with me, you know what? Show me where it is. I'll march with you. I'll peacefully march. But I'm not going to put myself in a situation where somebody throw a brick through my head. I got people at home I got to take care of. I got elderly parents.
But honestly, oh God. But that's what Jersey. I think that's what Jersey's going through right now. Most of Jersey's protests have been straight peaceful protests. There has been a couple incidents where a cop's car was vandalized, not vandalized, almost burnt to the fucking core. But and I think last night there was some place in Patterson that had a brick through its window. But most people now are starting to see, especially the protesters at these events, that is not the way to do it. You could be mad all you want. That is not the way to. They are stopping everybody who is trying to hit a cop. And you know what? What pisses me off is that CNN, Fox, they're not covering any of these people.
Of course not. It doesn't sell. Like I said to everybody, when you pick up a newspaper, if you have a building exploding on the outside on the front page of a newspaper, and the one right next to it has the flower show, you're going to buy the one with it sells. Shit sells. Newspapers aren't there not to make money, and news reporters are going to sensationalize everything. But I believe it's your job as a human being to not let anybody define you, not let anybody take what they think and make it your opinion. And I get that sometimes it can get heated, but you got to stand your ground. You have to say, I am not going to stand there. You want to talk your way. You want to be an asshole. That's fine. But I can also be an asshole. But I'm going to protect my opinion, and I'm going to protect my position.
Well, I also the things to account of with podcasts what we're doing is, again, you could listen to us. You can, disagree with us, and we want to hear your disagreements. People who might hear this, if you have my phone number, text me. Tell me you want to come on. We'll gladly sit here and debate with you, because that's what America's about. It's about sitting here and debating civilly with the other person. You can agree to disagree. Everybody has their own point of view. But to sit here and to completely shut out one side because you feel, well, that's wrong.
Your opinion doesn't matter because you're not black. No, it does. Because that might be, at these riots or these protests that break into riots, that might be my business that you're breaking into.
But not even to that. It's a very fine line, because you could sit there and turn around and say, you have those people who sit there and say your opinion doesn't matter because you're not black. That's their opinion. I completely look. You want to think that way, that's fine. But you're trying to change everybody else's opinion of you because you are black. Mm-hmm. So to sit there and say, well, your opinion doesn't matter, but what is your opinion of me? That it's contradictory of itself. So I would like people to sit there and, again, talk. If you want to talk, sit there and talk to people. And some, again, as far as government, and police department, some of it might land on deaf ears because that's just the system and how it does. But I think if enough people, black, white, Spanish, no matter what they are, if they come together and say, look, this is not the way things should be, and the way things are just aren't working for everybody, in a peaceful manner. And you know what? I agree with the I forgot who was. I think it was a basketball player, but he called for a blackout day. I think it's like July 7th. Nobody go out and buy anything. Or yesterday was Blackout Tuesday. Maybe it was yesterday. Nobody go out and buy anything.
When you say buy everything, buy what?
Like stop paying.
Just stay home. Don't purchase.
Yeah, stay home. Don't purchase anything because that when you cut off somebody's money, that sends a message to that person.
I believe that 100%. I say it about the gasoline all the time. You want to lower the gas prices in this country? Everybody stay off the road for one day. It's not the fact that you stayed home. It's not the fact that they're not selling gas for that day. It's the fact that you actually got together, and instead of one person making a statement, now they got to contend with everybody, and that can be done. If you can do that, they'll start saying, you want to fill up? I'll give you $10 to come to my station. Yeah. Because at that point, they know that people can stick together. Right now, they're counting on people not sticking together. They're counting on me hating that guy because he might be a tad different color than me. Or it might be, pick out his difference and that's why I don't like him. Or pick out my difference, that's why you don't like me. Well, that's what they count on, and they run to the bank with it.
Oh, yeah.
But we're too stupid defending our position as, well, I may be ugly, motherfucker. I want to be ugly. That's my position. Well, it's fine to stick to your position, and everybody should, but not to the point where it actually steps on somebody else's toes and hurts someone. When it gets to the point where you're stepping on somebody's neck, no pun intended, but when you're doing that,
I don't think there should be any
time
puns
to
about
change.
that.
We need to have real change, and we need to have real conversation, and we need to have, the leaders in this country, stop worrying about taking care of the banks and all this other bullshit. And let me ask you a question. Have you noticed that since the banks got their money in the bailout, everything started opening up again? We were under lockdown. We were, you can't go outside, you're going to do this, can't go outside, you don't wear a mask, you got to put a giant condom on, you're going to go outside, blah, blah, blah. But the minute the banks got their $10 billion in processing fees, the narrative turned, now we can start opening up, little at a time. And once we do that, we're going to phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I personally think that if you want to make real change in this country, or maybe just in Jersey, we all get together, black, white, green, polka dot, whatever, and go down to Trenton and somehow let this prick get the message that we want our state back. Either lock us down altogether until it goes away, or make everything open. Okay? You can't get to the point where you lock somebody up for opening up their gym, their livelihood, their way of putting food on the fucking table, but yet don't say a word to anybody throwing a brick through a window because they're angry. The hypocrisy is insane, and that's part of the shit that fuels racism. Why should I get told I can't do this, but yet you don't do a goddamn thing to him? Or it could be vice versa. It's all about consistency, and we need to be consistent. And we need to stop hurting everybody. We need to pick a fucking subject and stick on that subject until we figure it out. We're intelligent creatures. We should act like it, but we don't. And that's the frustration part. I'm going to go back to what I said at the beginning of the show. Frustrated. I am frustrated. I am angry because we could have had all of it. We could have had a beautiful conversation.
And actually probably change something. I do think after this there is going to be a serious talk about at least as far as police wise, there's definitely going to be a serious talk of maybe different training methods. Or now, I'm not talking about the shoot to kill, because I do believe a police officer has the right, if he feels threatened, to shoot to kill.
You better believe it.
But in the right circumstances. And I think what needs to also happen is this. I get their brothers in arms, blue bloods, but if you know there's a scumbag cop on your force, do not protect that person.
No, just don't protect him. Make him next cop. This guy had some, I don't know exactly how many he had against him. He had a ton of shit against him. So
I read it
mayor?
was 18 prior complaints, I think it is.
That would be 17 too much. Where was the mayor? He was the first one to come out. Oh, I love my city so much. You didn't love enough to police your own police department. You didn't do a goddamn thing about that. You allowed this to fester. And now we got a guy in the ground that should never been there. And then you want to charge the prick with third-degree manslaughter, third-degree murder? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, George Floyd, the more I read about this man, he was a literal saint.
He was a good man. And why? He's in the ground for no fucking reason. And yet, a guy that's been allowed to do whatever the fuck he wanted on the police force, but then it comes to be a big surprise to these people. Well, of course he murdered somebody. You let him go unchecked for years. What the fuck is wrong with you people? You're the mayor of the town. You're the police commissioner. Do your fucking job. But they weren't doing their job. Okay? They did nothing to this prick. I don't know anything about the other 3 cops, but I'll tell you one thing. They should have been arrested.
They have not been arrested, but I did read they were fired.
Big fucking deal. And that's another thing. I had a big discussion this morning about being fired. If they were fired, if this cop was fired, he should have been in cuffs the minute he turned his badge in. Why? Because you fired him for a reason. I don't care what the reason is. All right? Well, no, let me strike that. I do care what the reason is. Because you didn't fire him because he lost the tickets to the Tulip show. You fired him because he had all these priors against him, and now you're trying to save your own ass.
Yeah.
He should have been arrested immediately. But no, we waited, 3-4 days before we were arrested? Maybe even longer than that, 5 days before he was arrested? I can't remember.
I think it was between. I think it was 4 or 5 days. And what were we waiting on these other cops for? They stood around. Yeah. Especially with their connection with the what's Derek Chafin, I think is the police officer's name.
Douchebag. That's what we call him.
With the douchebag.
How many times now? I know. I can speak for myself. When I watch this video now, I literally get sick. I can't even watch it because all I want to do is jump to that fucking screen and push him off, and I can't. Excuse me. And that's the more frustrating thing about it.
And honestly,
cops doing nothing.
And at that same point, I think there's a lot of people now that are saying, that are encouraging people, if you see something happening like that, you may be risking your own life, but don't sit there and videotape it. Do something about it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm not putting that. I appreciate the person who filmed it.
Thank God,
I really do. Yeah, I really do. I really do. But people around, don't sit there and just. Yeah, they're cops, but if you know someone's doing something wrong, that you see someone's doing something wrong, fucking go stop them.
I totally agree. Or start blowing the whistle, getting a bat. If you get arrested, so be it, but he'll be there. The guy, he'll get his fucking foot off his neck. Okay?
Because there was 4 cops there, and there had to be at least 20 people watching that.
If you turn the photos from behind the thing, and you literally see 3 or 4 cops. With the douchebag, 3 other cops kneel on this guy. He's in cuffs. What are you kneeling on him for? What do you think he's going to do? We're not talking about locking up Gigantor here. Okay? You had the man in cuffs. He couldn't breathe. He had claustrophobia. You didn't do your best to try to help the man. For a $20 fake check or whatever the hell he tried to do?
I think it was a fake... not even... I don't even know. But I have a question, though. Who calls the cops for a fake $20 bill?
I guess you can. I mean, if you, depending, I don't know that situation. I don't know what happened there.
I want to hear from whatever store he was trying to, that bodega or wherever the hell store.
You'll never hear that. You might hear that. CNN might pull him out of the fucking, give
because
him a couple bucks
that doesn't, it never sat well with me of why 4 officers were called to get a man for fake $20 bill.
I never resisted arrest or anything.
Yeah.
He was paranoid. You could see there was something. He was afraid. I mean, you got 4 people ascending on him. He's in cuffs. He has...
Especially for someone he probably... with Chafin, who he knew prior.
All the reports are that he was a bouncer with him in a bar for 10 years. I don't know how the truth is. I'm not gonna go there. But, in the future, I think that, it's time to wrap things up. I just want to say thanks for giving me an opportunity to...
I mean, we have a couple more minutes. We have almost 10 more minutes.
All right. Well, I just don't understand sometimes, Joe, how these things are right in front of you and you just don't say them. People don't say them. And if they do, they make a story about it.
I don't think it's more of a story. I think people are they're blinded by hate right now. And nobody is...
What did they hang him for? What did he do?
Who?
Mr. Floyd. What did he do?
No, not Floyd. I'm talking about the rioters, or you're talking about the cops.
That was what I was on. Yeah, to me, and again, it's not all cops. I got my cousin's a cop. Like he's a Baptist minister,
and he's a wonderful man.
He's probably, I mean, top 10 people in my life. I love the guy to death. And I dare anybody to say anything bad about him. Oh, yeah. I'll rip his microphone, shove it up your ass, because he's salt of the earth.
Right, but that's another thing I'm trying to explain to people, that you could sit here and be against an asshole cop who abused his power, but you could also be against people throwing bricks through a window.
Oh, you can.
And stealing TVs, and so they do not go hand in hand.
No, they don't. But what we're losing sight to sometimes is, with all this stuff going on. I mean, there was a picture on Facebook or Twitter or Insta whatever, of 6 or 7 black guys, interlocked, surrounding a cop.
Yeah.
Because the cop got separated from his thing. They were protecting that guy. That gets lost in the narrative. Nobody understands that.
All that stuff will get lost.
Oh, the black guy. No, yeah, the black guy saved this cop. Or the black guy's protecting this cop. What about the black people that that lost their businesses and their livelihood? What about the black cop that was shot in Detroit? Nobody seems to give a shit about him.
And the black cop that was shot in San Francisco.
Yeah. There you
go. How about I think he was a black cop that got ran over in New York City 2 nights ago.
Nobody seems to care about that. Nobody seems to give a rat's ass about that. And consistency is what we need to. If you care about Black Lives Matter, then you care about Black Lives Matter. All Black Lives Matter. All of them. Not just when they're killed by a white guy. Okay? And I know that doesn't sit well with people, but it's the fucking truth. Okay? When you have a black guy killing a black guy, why don't I hear any shit going on there? And it's really, really bad that's happening, because it doesn't give credence to a movement that we should be listening to.
No, I think also we have to look at this is, it's not white cop kills black guy. I think it's bad cop kills good guy.
Oh, I agree with you there. Yeah, but you can't do that. You can't say that, because people will say, but he was black, and he was a white cop, which is true. And maybe they got a point there. Maybe that's being lost in the narrative as well, because then it doesn't. That conversation that we might be able to have gets lost.
But you also have to take into the fact of if you want to do it straight like that, again, you can't go from the top. You can't just see when I first saw it, I just saw a cop killed a guy. Yeah, right. My mind went straight to, oh, he's white, the guy is black. Yeah, I think that's what we're programmed to think of whenever we see a white cop kill a black guy. That automatically it's racist. And again,
I don't know if this was racism. I'm not gonna say that, but it was murder.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying is I think that's what we've been programmed to think, that straight off the bat, if we see a white cop killing a black guy, it's racism right off the bat. That was his number one motive, because he was black. That's why he's dead. Yeah. And we don't know. We don't dig deeper into it. Now, of course, obviously, there's always. And I guess to link the President Trump aspect into it, they found the cop wearing a MAGA hat, and right there, all of a sudden, he's racist.
You know what? I don't put much credence in any photos they find. In this day and age, photos can be made different. Maybe hand that on.
Well, have you seen the recent things that are coming out about the mugshot of the cop? They're saying it's not the same guy.
I didn't see that at all.
Because apparently it's a different hairline and the ears are different. Again, what I was looking at is it's a video and far away from the cop, and he's standing straight up, and the mugshot is complete, like he's like from the side kneeling down or some shit like that. Yeah. Body changes here and there, but again, it's very things to get into. Now, we're almost up here, but no, next week are we getting straight into JFK? You want to jump right into JFK?
I want to jump into JFK first, because it's funny you just mentioned that about the cropping and the hair. I mean, JFK had probably one of the most fucked up photos of all time that was basically fake. And that's well proven, it's well documented. Him standing in the backyard, with his Carcano and a rifle and a gun on his hip, and the Dallas Morning News. That was if you blow that up, you can see where the fucking hairlines are and everything else. And it's as phony as a $3 bill. But of course, people don't do their homework and they're only interested in what they're being told by the Dan Rathers of the world. Look, that's another subject. We'll get on that.
Well, that will be next week's episode. But I think this week was definitely to introduce ourselves, and of course, it's hard not to get into a topic that's so prevalent. Again, I think that's a word. Is that a word?
It is now. You're 2 for 2.
Okay, that's so immediate in our daily lives. Yes, I know that's a word. Thank you. But other than that, I think next week we really dive into, the JFKs, the 9/11s, Bigfoot C, all of that.
Bigfoot. You gotta love Bigfoot. I love Bigfoot. Even when he's sitting down talking to Flo on those commercials, I love it.
You have to lay off the crack, man.
Anyway, thanks guys out there, wherever you are, for sharing a little bit of time with us. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, let us know what you think of our podcast. Please go to or send an email to us, and we'll definitely get up an email. We'll get up a Facebook and all that. But the email is thisrealpc@gmail.com. I'm Joe. That's my father, Joe.
I'm Joe, too.
Thanks, everybody. And this has been Is This Real?